Well, good morning, and here I am. This is take two because, believe it or not, I had just filmed about 5 minutes before I realized, you know what? I forgot to unmute the mic on my laptop, which is something I do when I'm writing in Trivinger, and I have the headset on. I mute the mic. So I was like 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes in, and I go, wait a minute. I haven't unmuted the mic, so there's no sound coming through. I'd have felt like a complete asshole if I had put this video up and there was no sound. So, yeah, Cassidy at the apartment with some coffee left. I had breakfast already. And the reason I am at the apartment today, I'm just going to shut the fan off here. Hold on real quick. There we go. So you don't have to listen to that. The reason I'm at the apartment today is I'm getting ready. Today is a big travel day for me. I am heading out with my team, and yes, I have been told I can call them my team. I am a team member, more or less. Basically, the way it was explained to me, you showed up for the next practice, you're on the team. You've been showing up for the practices, you're on the team. Yeah. So, you know, I guess as long as you just keep showing up. Oh, man, I got some tore up skin here. I guess as long as you just keep showing up for the practices and you're making the effort to get better, you are on the team. And that's basically what I was told. Sorry. So I can say my team. We're heading out to Youngstown, Ohio. We have a 4.5 to 5 hour drive today. We're leaving here at 11 o'clock. We hope to get into Ohio right around 4:35 o'clock. And we have a match. Pay no attention to me, I know. We have a match from, I believe it's from 6 to 8 tonight. We are spending the night out there in Youngstown. We're going to be rooming like, I think it's like 4 or 5 women to a room. Yeah, we're getting like 2 double beds and an air mattress. And it's going to be like 4 to 5 women to a room. You know, yee! But the best part is, if you look on our website, they actually say after party. After all the games, after party. Yeah, there's gonna be drinking. Oh yeah, this is the kind of sport I like, particularly when we have a home game in August. And a second. I'm recharging all my batteries for my camera here, so I'm making certain that all 3 batteries I have for my video camera are fully charged. But anyway, you check on our website, we have a home game August the 6th, which is ironic since that's the day they dropped the first atomic bomb on somebody. And it even says on our webpage, tailgating 4 p.m. We tailgate out in the parking lot of a roller rink before our game. Yeah, I don't think any of us will actually be doing that. I think it's more the fans, which makes you wonder, you know, just how rowdy these assholes are gonna be when we get in there and start beating up on everybody. But yeah, spending the night. We're leaving Youngstown tomorrow. We're actually outside of Youngstown. We're about 10 minutes outside. So we're leaving there about 9:30 in the morning tomorrow, which should get us back early afternoon Sunday, so we can rest up. It's going to be fun. I'm going to get video. I've actually said that I would videotape the match so that they would have video for the game. I don't mind. I was planning on taking my video camera anyway, so It's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I've never really been away from home on something like this. This is that girl in me that never got to do this sort of stuff in the past. And if I were like 25 years old, I would probably be like, yeah, I would probably just be nuts. But I'm not going to be able to drink much tonight because I do not want to get trashed. If I get trashed, then the next thing you know, I'm a mess the next day. And I don't want to be a mess the next day driving back for 4 hours on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. That's not fun. So, the only downside to this weekend is I've still got a bit of a cold. I started coming down with it Wednesday night, and I'm in the sniffles part. The sore throat and everything is gone, but I've got like the runny nose discharges starting, and I'm hoping by tomorrow it'll be all over. So, we'll see. At least I'm not coughing and hacking and sneezing and running a fever. I'm just, sorry about that. I'm just stuffy nose and a couple of other things. So I'm going to take some Dayquil with me so I can help get this out of my system. And I'm hoping by tomorrow I'll be much better. But I did some writing last night. Among other things, I did laundry, so between laundry I did writing. I got in a little over 600 words, and the scene I was working on is Annie's folks have shown up at school, so I had to do a bit of translating into Bulgarian. Since Annie and her parents are going to speak Bulgarian with one another when they first meet, it's not all going to be in English. But yes, Carrie is just kind of standing there, and the parents, Pavlina and Victor, they've complimented Annie on how good she looks and all this other stuff, daughter parent stuff, and they're like, come on over here, Carrie. And Annie's told her parents that she's trying to teach Carrie, she's tutoring Carrie in how to speak Bulgarian. And of course Victor's like, well, I guess in a little while you'll be speaking like a native. And Carrie's naturally kind of embarrassed / unsure of what he should say around people who are going to be his future in-laws. He just doesn't know what to do. He's never had to have this kind of interaction before. And he's already stressed out simply because his parents have basically abandoned him for the holidays. So he's not a happy kid. Yeah, it's just poor kid. I really do feel sorry for Carrie. In a way, it's not easy for him. You run into these situations and hold on, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to sneeze or not. So, yeah. You run into these situations with kids like this where their parents are emotionally unavailable. We don't know what Louise's problem is. As I've said, Davin Malaby, his father was an alcoholic, so he was raised in a household where his mother had suppressed emotions. She was probably something of a battered wife as well, living with an alcoholic husband, I mean. So his emotional structure is kind of screwed up. And Louise has a very powerful, personality, so it tends to overwhelm him, which is one of the reasons why he tends to go along with whatever she says. With Annie's parents, they're both their own people. Pavlina is extremely sure of herself. She's highly intelligent. She doesn't take any BS. Victor's the same way. He's sure of himself. He's highly intelligent. He's aggressive. He's, doesn't take any BS. The only trade-off in their relationship is that Victor knows he will never get away trying to tell Pavlina what to do. And in a way, Pavlina's the same way. She doesn't try to tell Victor what to do either. And part of that is that's where Annie gets her whole I'm not going to tell you what to do thing with Carrie. She gets that from her mom. Her mom was the one that, more or less said the same thing to Victor. I'm not ever going to tell you what to do. You got to learn this stuff on your own. You're going to have to be your own person. And I won't try to direct you. By the same token, Victor never tries to direct Pavlina either. He'd get his legs chopped out from underneath him. And considering they're both sorceresses, you don't want to get into an argument. You don't want to see these two get into an argument. It could get ugly real fast. Which makes you wonder what happens when witches argue. Is there... do they, they probably have to stop for a second and realize what they're talking about. Simply because sometimes the urge to fire off a spell is just too... it's just there, you don't want to do it. Yeah, marital issues between witches. That is a real bitch kitty. Because if they don't learn to control their emotions, and that's one of the things that the school is doing, you don't see it as much, but the school is imparting upon these kids that you need to know how to control yourself. You have to. That's one of the proficiencies they show. And since the kids are under constant observation, and people would know pretty much right away who's a loose cannon and who isn't. So, yes, and even when you bring this up about Lisa and Frankie, yes, they're sneaky little mean shits. But they're not going around zapping everybody in class. So, oh man, my nose is bothering the hell out of me. But they are monitored. I mean, we know that students are kind of monitored. We know what's going on. And we have an inkling, based on something that Miss Rutherford said, that students are even monitored when they're not at school. I mean, we know that somebody went by and checked on Carrie the night he got home from school and outed himself as a witch. Which seems like a long time ago because I've been working on this book for almost a year. That first anniversary is coming up. But we do know that there are people who go out and they'll check on other witches. Carrie was checked on that first night to see how he was doing. Somebody went by the house and, far-sighted in there and saw Carrie was doing okay and the parents were talking and blah, 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 So we know that happens. The kids probably get checked on more than we imagine. And even like Annie, there's probably, every so often, there's probably a witch that flies by the Kirilovi household to check on Annie. She doesn't know about it, but there probably is someone who just pops in every so often and says, "Hey, I wonder how these kids are doing. Let me just peek." Because they want to know. They keep up on these things. They have to. The foundation sometimes sounds like an absentee landlord, but they're not. They're really very big on personal responsibility. You have to be personally responsible for how you use this power. You know, you have to. What would they do if they caught a witch abusing it? They do bad things. Is there a way they can keep you from using magic? Most definitely. They know how to do it. Whether they would actually do it or not is hard to say. They probably have. There probably have been instances where they've actually just went in and said, Of course, in those instances, it may just be easier to kill the person. We don't know what goes on inside Cloudland. Well, I kind of do, but you don't. It's not a pleasant place. It's not like Azkaban. Azkaban is the most screwed up prison in the world, simply because you take a person, you throw them in jail. You throw them in a jail where they are haunted by specters. I mean, literally, that are designed to live off their fear. And they do things like they keep prisoners chained up 24/7 a day. You know, no mobility, nowhere to go, no getting out of your cell, no walking around the yard, stuff like that. If you did not go into Azkaban as a psychopath, the chances are pretty good you're going to come out of Azkaban as a psychopath. I mean, you know, it's sorry to say, it is a really jacked up place. And you gotta wonder about a wizarding society or a witching society. We'll call it a wizarding society to keep them separate. Where even a minor offense, like, you know, hiding a hippogriff, means you're going to Azkaban, which is what they did to Hagrid. They took him to Azkaban for like some minor misdemeanor petty bullshit. And they took him to Azkaban. I mean, come on. Let's see. Sirius Black, murder. Bellatrix, Lestrade, murder, Death Eater. You know, a couple of other people, murderers, Death Eaters, murderers, Death Eaters, murderers. Hagrid, I hid a hippogriff that I was supposed to kill. Oh man, imagine that story in the Chow line. What are you in for? Oh, I killed 6 muggles. What are you in for? I killed 20 muggles. What are you in for? Oh, I was a Death Eater and I tortured 5 muggles to death. What are you in for? I'll hit a hippogriff. Oh, come on. Sorry, but that is the most jacked up society in the world. That they would put a guy out. They don't even have like a minimum security prison. They don't even have a local jail. That's where they should have put Hagrid. They should have put him in like the county lockup. You know, you're talking 30 days. 30 days in the lockup, dude. No, they sent him to Azkaban. Oh, Christ. No, they do not do that in my world. The only people that go to Cloudland are, like, really bad people. I can guarantee you, there's no one in Cloudland serving less than 15 years. And the 15-year sentences are probably due to having a sentence commuted for some reason. The thing that makes my prison, Cloudland, so difficult is it's inside a mountain. So you don't know how to jaunt out of there. You absolutely do not have any sort of orientation as to where you are at when you're brought in. And one of the things they do is, you know, no one's ever fully awake when they come into Cloudland. They're always like, they're either unconscious before they're brought down or something like that. So you have no sense of direction, and there are so many enchantments around the containment that would prevent anyone from seeing out, plus they have things in the food which inhibit your magical abilities. So, there's no getting out. They've never had a successful escape from Cloudland. My nose. I wish I would just get this over with. So, as soon as I'm done with this scene with the parents, then we move on to Samhain afternoon, and we get into the racing. Yes, and I know some of you are like, oh, racing, I can't follow it. Oh, blah, 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 it's so boring. Yeah, well, too bad. There won't be much racing this year in the books. There probably will be Mount Katahdin, and there'll probably be a couple of races. But this year, last year was Carrie's introduction to racing. This year, no, not so much. But we got to have racing because it's Samhain. We know that's a big deal. Annie's parents are there. We know Victor is going to be very intent on the ginger hair boy and how well he races. No pressure there, Carrie. By the way, just so everyone knows, yes, Victor was a champion. He won the individual title, so there is some pressure there, Carrie. There is some pressure there to repeat. In the history, Holic and Victor were actually the last Ceranos Coven members to win the individual title. If I remember correctly, I think Holic was the last, and he did it a couple of years after Victor. Or he did it before Victor. I think Victor may have... I'd have to go back and check my notes. But Victor may have been the last individual champion from Ceranos Coven, so... No pressure, Carrie. No pressure whatsoever. Yeah. He probably doesn't need this today, of all days. Poor Carrie. I love to put him through shit. So we'll see what happens. Will Carrie win the individual title someday? Maybe. Maybe he will. We'll see. There's that awkward pause. All of a sudden my brain just went dead. It was like, am I saying something here? It's just going to be a long day. I am probably going to sleep on the trip out to Youngstown, Ohio today. Boy. Traveling with my team. Yeah, and I can say that. It's my team. So, I will get something out tomorrow. Probably is not going to be much. I'm likely not going to have an excerpt out, like I said, until Monday, though you never know. I might fool you and actually put out 500 words tomorrow because I won't have a choice. I think that's about it. I've run out of things to say. My mind is just completely lost here. So, it's 8 o'clock, my time. This is as good a place as any to stop. So when I see you the next time, I'll try to send in some pictures from the road. I'll send in some video eventually, but that's it. Everybody, take care, have fun, enjoy whatever you're going to do today, and don't forget to write. Bye.